Hello, you dirtbags. It's good to see you. Missed you guys. So I'm gonna come out and say it. Wemby is the GOAT. That man is the greatest basketball player to have ever touched the face of the earth. I know how you feel about Michael Jordan. I know how you feel about LeBron James. You might feel good about somebody we might judge you a little bit for, right? You might think Allen Iverson's the GOAT, which shout out AI. You know, you might think Paul George is the GOAT, which shout out Brandon Miller, right? Whoever it is that you want to call your GOAT, you're a liar. Because Victor Wembanyama is the GOAT. That man different, bro. That man different, bro. Okay, so all right, so hear me out. I'm gonna calm down this amount. Un poquito. Very, very small. I'm going to calm down. But what I just saw as a Spurs fan, right? Mind you, I'm a fan, right? So we gonna win every game, and we gonna go to the championship every year, and all that stuff, depending on what I see from a game-to-game basis, right? Cool. I was not expecting a lot of things, right, in this game. As a Spurs fan, I got a lot of things that I was not expecting, right? Number one, this man came out aggressive as hell from the jump. Like, he was like, somebody came to him for sure and told him, like, hey, man, you shooting shots today. I don't want you doing a whole bunch of passing. I don't want you to do a whole bunch of looking for other guys. You shoot today, right? That's what they told that man. And he was like, okay, I got you bet. He said, I got you bet. He's like, I think that's something that I think I may be able to do that for you, actually. You remember when his teammates came out and said, you see him do one or two wild things every practice, right? Every time, they came into the gym, you see him do something crazy. That for a while I was like, okay, I mean, like, I could imagine that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this Wemby, right? He be doing crazy stuff all the time. And the stuff that we've seen him do up to this point, right? In France, like, all of that has been wild, right? It's been kind of out of pocket. It doesn't really process. It doesn't make sense, right? But I think the thing that made us be okay with that, like, mentally, like, computing that made sense for us mentally, because we could like put qualifiers on it, right? Like, oh, he just in France. You know what I'm saying? That's why he out here, quadruple doing a, backflip on the court and then shooting threes. Like, that's why it looked like he doing all this crazy circus stuff, right? Because he in France. You know what I'm saying? The competition is a little whatever, right? That's what we've been saying this whole time, right? He gonna get to the league. It's gonna take him a while. We just gonna be, we're gonna have to watch him, as he grows in the league. We ain't having to wait for nothing. We're not having to wait to watch him grow into nothing. So, like, okay, so what you're gonna say to me, right, in response to everything I'm saying right now, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. You're being disrespectful. I need you to calm down. I hear you, right? You're like, hey, Robert, you're wilding right now because ultimately at the end of the day, they wasn't even playing none of your players, right? You said yourself in the last video, this is what you sound like to me in my head. You said yourself in the last video, right, that they not playing none of their players and that made you mad and whatever. So how you just gonna be sitting here? I hear you, right? And all the tone that you got in your voice, I hear you, right? And I understand all of that, right? But there's certain things that were done in that game that translate regardless as to, I wouldn't say regardless, right? Like, yes, that is a point to be made, right? The competition is the competition. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I can dribble regardless, right? My skill set is what it is regardless, right? Anybody who's coming to the lane for a layup, that's the same. It's the same type of layup, like, you know what I mean, type of situation, right? It looks different when Giannis is doing it than when Kyrie's doing it than when whatever. But ultimately, it's a timing thing. The skill set itself is translatable for sure. Like, a lot of the stuff that we saw him do is translatable for sure, right? If you're 7'4", and I know y'all saw my man's come into the mid range, do the yeem, the little Kevin Durant crossover, into the step back shot in the mid range and wet that John nasty, looking like a guard, right? I know y'all saw that. He looked like Kyrie Irving doing it, right? He looked like smooth in that way, right? He didn't look like Kyrie Irving, let me chill. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he looked very smooth for somebody. He didn't look 7'4" doing that, right? He didn't look like Yao Ming or Shaq or, you know what I'm saying? All these other guys that we know to be extra tall or whatever. He didn't look like those guys, right? It's just, it breaks your brain sometimes to see it in real time. Like, and I don't think that we can take it for granted, right? At the end of the day, we have been very, very lucky as Spurs fans to get multiple generational talents. I think that we have to. He really is ahead of schedule, and because we can see it with our own eyes, right? Yes, it's preseason. I get it. You know, yes, they weren't playing all of their guys, but we weren't playing all of our guys, right? Type of thing, right? You know, he said, Pop said he ain't draw up no plays for that man. He said he drew up one play for that man. That whole game, he drew up one play for that man. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not like, you know, he was out here just scheming him open shots and stuff like that. My man's is just nice. My man's is just cold. Like, he just, you know what I'm saying? And I think one of the things that I really, really enjoyed seeing was seeing him, like, be aggressive like that in a San Antonio Spurs uniform, right? Like, I saw him, you know, in France, you know what I mean? But once again, we talk ourselves out of that, right? Oh, he's just aggressive because, you know, he playing against dudes who couldn't make it to the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, they scrubs, like they just trash, like they not grown men, right? Type of situation. Yeah, no, you can't talk yourself out of it no more. You can't talk yourself out of it no more. And I think that's what you're starting to see a lot with a lot of the bigger names in the sport. They have a lot more to lose by just saying like, oh yeah, my man's is just gonna be crazy fire, right? Somebody can come back and play a recording of them being like, oh yeah, you know, I remember back in the day, I thought, I don't know, Kwame Brown was gonna be the best basketball player, like whatever, right? And they play that recording back forever and ever, and so now they scared to say somebody else is gonna be good. But like, nah, bruh, all of this stuff is transferable, right? Everything that you're seeing right now, he's showing you he can do it, and he can do it on a high level, right? He attacked that competition the way that competition deserved to be attacked, right? If that's your, you know, if that's your thing that's holding you back mentally. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm excited about being excited. My man's is ahead of schedule, ultimately, at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, my guy's a defensive roaming specialist right now. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen it like multiple times. Like, you know what I mean? Right now, he can do that, right? My man's is an aggressive 3-level scorer right now. My man's dunked on Thomas Bryant, and Thomas Bryant acted like that was the first time he ever seen somebody dunk before. Like, you know what I mean? He dunked on that man from 2, 3, 4 feet out of from the restricted area. Like, you ain't even next to the basket. Your body over there, and you dunk the ball. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, you can be good at basketball too, and what are you supposed to do about that? What is Giannis supposed to do about somebody being able to dunk the ball outside of the paint, damn near? Like, you know what I mean? You know me. I just like let's be for real. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't feel like I'm exaggerating to say that, you know, that we have a guy who's going to be the best basketball player in the NBA in 3 to 4 years, right? Right now, I think that he, you know, it is 82 game season is different than 2 preseason games. I hear you, right? And I know that to be the case. So I'm not saying that I think that he's going to, like, you know, have 40 and 20, you know, every other game or anything like that. I don't think he's going to have a James Harden scoring run or nothing like that. I don't think that. But I do think that he can score 20 some odd points in his rookie year, which was not something that we originally had on the radar, right? People were around that like 15 to 18 range, some rebounds type of thing as he gets his foot in it. No, I think you're going to see a 20 plus point per game scorer this year, right? I think you're going to see the defense a 3+ block average this year. Like, you know what I mean? Which is like, that's insane to think about, right? You might have somebody who could genuinely be in the DPOY conversation this year. You know what I mean? That doesn't fully register and doesn't fully make sense, right? But we saw it. I just let them call you a homer, right? Let them call you a homer. Let them call you a super fan. Let them call you whatever, right? Spurs fans have been known to be, the most excited and happily aggressive fans in the world. Let them call you whatever they want to call you, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think you know what you have in Victor Wembanyama, right? He keeps showing it, and I don't think that he can do too much more now at this point. What else you want this man to do? He done showed you the sauce. He done showed you the sauce. What more you want that man to do? And crazy thing is, he's gonna do something else crazy, right? Like this is gonna be a wild season, y'all. For real. I'm so excited. Okay, so we had to chop it up about Vic. Of course, we got to talk about Devin. Anybody that said that man is not worth every single penny that he's getting paid right now, your mama don't love you for real. I'ma chill. I'm sorry, your mama love you. You could be a terrible person, your mama's still gonna love you. It's all good. But yeah, no, like you need to go to a therapy session and have a conversation with a professional. Devin Vassell, I think genuinely is going to be the guy that most resembles a star right now. Other than Victor, but I think Victor is going to resemble first year LeBron type of vibe, right? Like there's still going to be some games where like, oh, this kind of looks weird, or there's still going to be some games where it's like, oh, okay, that was a rookie type of, series of plays. That was a rookie type of thing or whatever. Like, cool. I think Devin Vassell is going to look polished in a way that Victor may or may not look polished, right? And not necessarily like to compare the two, but I'm really, really excited about the both of them as our two superstar tandem, right? Like that's the ceiling for these guys, right? Is for us to have two legitimate, like crazy, top 10 players in the league type of players, right? And I think that they fit the mold of the way that teams are trying to do a super team type of thing now. You know what I mean? I don't think it's the big, the big 3, big 4 type of thing anymore. The Suns are rocking with it or whatever. But I don't think it's the, let's just stack as many good players on a team as we possibly can and see if we can. I don't think it's that anymore. I think teams are starting to realize like a pair is really like kind of that sweet spot. Two guys who are superstar level type of guys, and then that gives you enough space with the cap and everything to be able to build around those two players, that type of thing, right? So makes sense, right? And I think that that's been working out a little bit more recently, but I think that that's kind of always been the vibe a little bit. But anyways, I would argue that that even in a big 3 that there's generally it's actually a big 2.5, right? It's a big 2, and then there's another player that's like an all-star level role player type of thing. You know what I mean? But that's a whole different conversation. We can get into that later. But anyways, I say that to say I think that we have this is gonna sound like hyperbole. We have a Shaq and a Kobe. Right? Like we have more recently like a Jokic and a Murray, right? Like we have two players who are superstar level players, all-star at least level players, right? Who everything can kind of fall on their shoulders, and then we can slot other guys into specific roles around those two guys' skill sets. And then I think the thing that's really, really dope about the specific pairings that I named, they're different enough that their skill sets, I'm talking about the Clippers. I'm finna talk about the Clippers. They're different enough that their skill sets don't overlap each other. You know what I mean? Type of thing. Specifically, like I said, the Clippers, I think that they kind of, Paul George is the shit. Like Paul George is fire, right? He's really, really good. Kawhi Leonard is fire as hell. You know what I mean? I know he's like Voldemort in the Spurs community or whatever. But let's be for real. My man's is nice as hell. If his knee wasn't playing defense on him, he would be, even more than what we see him being right now. So, shout out both of them. They're really, really good at what they do. I don't think that as a pairing is going to work out to be a championship team without some type of tweak or whatever. That anybody can be a championship team, but I don't think that's going to work out as a championship pairing until there's some sort of tweak or something like that. But mostly because there's so much overlap in their skill sets, right? And I think that's pretty obvious to see. It's one guy kind of sits on the wing, does his thing, gets his yang in, and if he can't do it, then he passes it, to ultimately get it to the other guy for him to, you know what I mean? As opposed to picking rolls with each other, picking pops with each other. You have to really their skill sets at the same time make you have to do two different things to guard them. You know what I mean? Which ultimately is damn near impossible, right? Which is why, Shaq and the Kobe's of the world, the Jokic and the Murrays of the world type of thing ends up being such a good thing, right? So I don't know. I'm super, super excited about that. But yeah, Devin was really dope. He was aggressive. I love Devin. I want to give Devin a full video breakdown one day. I think I was always, from the beginning, I always saw him as more than just the 3-and-D type of guy. I'm like, hold up, he a little saucier than I thought. You know what I mean? I saw him as a complete player from Florida State, from, when we first drafted him and I went and did my fan research and all that stuff. I was like, okay, cool. He's going to be more than just, especially in the Spurs system. You trust Pop, you trust, Chip England at that point, stuff like that. You're like, okay, yeah, he's going to get right type of thing. And shout out my mans. He put in all the work and you can tell for sure. You can tell he's polished. My mans went, hold on, let me see. I got y'all up here. My mans went 6 of 9, 6 of 7 from 3. That man took 7 3-pointers and made 6 of them Johns, while somebody else on the team scored 23 points. You know what I mean? Type of thing. He's polished. He's gonna be efficient. I think he's gonna get the ball to his guys. How many assists he have this game? 3, which isn't bad at all. I think he's gonna. I don't think he's just going to be the scoring guy. I think he started at point this game, type of thing, which was interesting to see. I think that they're really going to be serious about being positionless, right? Which is exciting as hell, right? I think they're going to really be serious about hey, we're just going to put 5 dudes on the floor that can hoop. And I would love to see that. We talk about we got to be positionless or whatever, or now it's just guards and bigs or whatever, right? But ultimately at the end of the day, there's still very set you're this type of player, so you do this type of thing, right? You're tall, but you're still a point guard, so you go dribble the ball a lot and pass it. You know what I mean? That type of thing. I think that we're really going to start to get to the point where it's there's certain things that we need you to do for a play or for a series or whatever. And so we're going to use that skill set from you for this series, right? So, hey, Devin, we're going to start you off. We want the ball to be in your hands a lot. So we're just going to put you at the point. Do you need to be dribbling the air out the ball? No, not necessarily. Do you need to be, looking for every single, man on the court and trying to do it? Not necessarily, right? Not necessarily. But we do want you to have the ball in your hand. The guy that generally has the ball in his hand a lot is the point guard. So we're just going to put you at the point, right? And use your specific skill set in a certain type of way, right? I'd be very, very excited to see more of what that looks like. So yeah, no, all of that was really exciting as hell. Devin is that guy. Devin is that guy for sure and deserve every single penny. He deserved more pennies. Shout out my guy. What else? Who else? Jeremy. What was my takeaway for Jeremy? I feel like it was, of course, good to see him play. Shout out my guy. Jeremy's probably one of my favorite players on like my favorite guys on the team. Like he's probably one of my favorite, like I'm super excited about his potential. I love following his off the court stuff. He had that interview where he was getting tatted up or whatever, and that was a fire interview to watch. Like he has a fire. My man's we're gonna get on here one day. Remind me I said this. I don't have it set up right now, and I don't feel like going to go do all that. But remind me I told y'all that we're gonna go watch the Jeremy Sohan video. Remind me I said that. We're gonna watch the Jeremy Sohan music video. If you don't know, you finna know something. And it's kind of hard, I ain't gonna hold you. But anyways, here's my thing about Jeremy in this game overall. When we say that he's a ball handler and we want him to be at the point, I don't think that means full time, and I don't think that means you're going to be doing a bunch of traditionally point guard stuff, right? I don't think that's the point. I'm trying to be funny. I think you want him at the point for the same reason I was kind of talking about Devin at the point, right? Because there's a specific skill set there. If you're a rebounder already, you're going to be bigger than the dude that's at point. You're going to be in the paint. You're somebody who's rebound minded. You're going to snatch that ball and you're going to be ready to go, right? If you're at the point, then we can put skill players, right? Shooters, that type of thing. We can put more of those types of guys out there on the floor as the guys who don't have to necessarily be actively rebounding. Y'all can go ahead and get out, right? Like y'all can go ahead and start running because we have rebounders for real, right? One of the things about DeJounte was a rebounder, right? Like mindset wise or whatever, right? It wasn't one of those things where he was just getting 10 rebounds because, they was the big man would shield everybody off and let him go get the ball. Like it wasn't, I don't think it was that type. Towards the end when we was trying to obviously when we was selling a little bit, obviously, right? But you know what I mean? Generally, from the beginning, he was a rebounder, and I think that helped a lot us press and like move in transition and stuff like that, which was really, really helpful, right? Our pacing was good, even while DeJounte was here, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm pretty sure, especially as we kind of got younger and things like that. So I think it's the same type of thing. You would put Jeremy at the point, not just because you want him to be the traditional, dribble the ball up and set the pick and see if I can find my guy after penetrating into he can do those types of things. But I think it's more so because we're a fast team and then we want somebody rebound minded down there on the floor so that other guys who don't have that as a skill set can go ahead and do their thing, right? I say that to say, watching him doing some of those things yesterday, he was a little rusty, right? He did miss, that last preseason game. But you could tell that there was a little bit of rust there. And I don't know if it just didn't look as clean as I remember it looking last year per se, right? So I think that was my only thing with that. Jeremy is Jeremy. He's fire. Even if he has 3 turnovers, I think he's going to end up... Jeremy's one of those players where regardless, him being on the floor is going to end up being a net positive, right? Like, I think either way it goes, you put him on the floor and he's going to do something that makes up for it ultimately at the end of the day anyway. So, shout out Jeremy. Charles Bassey. Charles Bassey, boy, that man... What did he have? He had like, hold on, let me see. I got y'all up here. He had like 4 blocks. I think Wemby had 3. He had 4. So we knew what Bassey was when we had him last year, right? When they gave him his guaranteed contract, I was super excited about that. Just because he plays that role, right? He's gonna rebound consistently. He's gonna rebound with his chest. And then he's going to get you blocks. Like, he's going to play defense the right way. He does I think he's starting to get more disciplined now. He does sometimes jump a little bit. I think that was a thing for him. You can tell that he's kind of worked on that type of thing. But yeah, no, Charles Bassey played like a gangster last game. Like, he was doing his thing last game. I'm super excited about his development. I think he still has like one more tier to go as far as his development is concerned. And in the G League, like he was bossing up on guys. He has nice touch around the rim. He's sneaky with that. And he can get up. You know what I mean? He can shoot the three every once in a blue moon. He's nice and he's versatile. Like a lot of these other guys are. And so I'm excited about him. Same type of thing, right? He can play like Collins, with the high low. He's a pretty adequate passer. Really good passer sometimes as far as like instincts and stuff like that. Charles Bassey is a bad man. So I'm excited about seeing him grow and making sure he's in the rotation and stuff like that. Who else? Malachi. Of course, I don't think that he plays super well type of situation. So here's my thing. Malachi and Julian Champagnie, both in my mind, like they're in the same boat in my mind, as in like, I don't care if y'all go 1 for 5 or 1 for 10 or whatever. I just want y'all out there shooting. Like for real. When y'all shoot, it's a good shot, like type of thing, right? Those dudes are both aggressive. They're both scoring mindset type of guys. They both hoop like they got hair on their chest. Like, you know what I mean? Like they ain't scared of you for real. You know what I mean? It was dope seeing Champagnie out there with his brother. I kept being like, oh, he looked like him. Yeah, they the same person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm 5.5. But yeah, no, that was dope to see. But yeah, both of those guys, like, I don't even think that they both had good shooting nights, per se. Either one of them did. But just they play like they know what their game is. They play like they know what they do well. They play like they're confident. If the shot is open, they taking it type of thing, right? So yeah, no, that was really good to see. Let me see what else. Yeah, man. I'm excited about this team, dude. And I feel like we're deep. Like I feel like there's a lot of guys that we have that, like, you go through a certain amount of rosters and they're top heavy, right? They got 4 or 5 guys. You know, they have a starter lineup worth of guys that's like, okay, yeah, no, they nice. Like that's a good group of dudes. And then they pull their bench out and it's like, okay, I'm finna work on y'all. Like, you know what I mean? I'm finna on y'all a little bit. You know what I mean? And you know, that's deflating for the 5 guys who's just on the court hooping type of thing. You know what I mean? So I think when we rotate our guys out, we're not losing anything. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say we're not losing anything, right? If Wemby's not on the court, there's an obvious loss there, right? You can kind of feel it in the way that everybody plays type of thing. Which I think that's just going to be a comfort thing too. You know, once rotations get a little bit more consistent and guys start consistently playing together, I think that'll kind of get resolved too. But yeah, no, Victor, you know, along with a lot of these other guys, you know, are in the process of melding and in the process of meshing. And I think you'll kind of start to see, you know, matchups and lineups form out and stuff like that. And you'll realize how deep the team is, right? You'll realize that when you rotate guys out, we're still doing a lot of the same things and we're still effective in a lot of the same ways. We're still running, right? We're still getting out on the break. We're still able to pass the ball well. We're consistent with that, right? Getting the ball out of attack or get the ball out of your hands. We're consistent with that already, like right now in preseason game number 2. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just super excited, man. I feel like we're winning a ring in the next, 5-6 years, genuinely, right? That's crazy to know for sure that, like, your team, if all goes well and everybody's ankles stay together and everybody's knees stay together and don't nobody shoot nobody or get suspended for nothing stupid, like, you know what I mean? Barring anything crazy, because humans are humans. Like, I don't see how, the pieces that we have and the setup that we have doesn't eventually turn into a championship team, genuinely. Not even necessarily these, but like, you know what I mean? Together. So I just, y'all, for real, right now, if you're a Spurs fan right now, it's okay to be a little homer. It's okay to be for real about your team. It's okay to talk your talk. You know what I'm saying? We ain't been able to talk no talk in like 4-5 years. You better talk your talk. Hold up, your superstar ain't do like my super. Your superstar don't get down like my superstar. Oh, your superstar. Oh, he don't play. Oh, he don't play defense. Oh, okay. I can't relate. Both of mine do. You know what I mean? Like, talk your talk, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Big up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Do the Wemby flex on him one time. You know what I mean? That's what we gonna call it from now on. The Wemby flex. Do the Wemby flex on him one time. You know what I mean? Talk your talk. That's it. I ain't got nothing else to say. I love y'all a lot. Y'all be good. Y'all be nice to people out there, for real, for real. You don't know what people got going on. Yeah, that's it, man. Like and subscribe for your boy. All the algorithm buttons. Talk to me in the comments, man. I'll chop it up with you for sure, for sure. That's it, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be good.